Well, hello and welcome to NEWUP Weather News. This is a Sunday update / winter weather alert. We're going to be dealing with what could possibly be our largest storm of the season. Go figure, it's going to be at the end of March. But we are going to be dealing with some heavy snow for some folks and then followed up by a pretty heavy rain as well. That's going to be a messy next couple of days. I'm going to go into the models here, and I apologize, this might not be as cleanly edited as some of them are, and I know I usually let some goofy things through, but I'm going to be going through each of the models, and I want to take my time and be able to show you everything that's going on, so it might be just a little bit more choppy than usual. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up the GFS model right now, and what you can see here is that light snow that might be falling in your area right now. There's a little bit of light snow that's kind of pushing into our area, and it's just kind of the predecessor of what's about ready to happen. This is the GFS model, by the way. So we're going to start moving the clock here, and this is around noon today, and you can see that the more moderate snow is going to begin pushing in to our area. It looked at first over a late Friday and into Saturday morning that the snow was going to be starting earlier than it was, but it kind of pushed back now, but here we are. Nonetheless, we're going to be getting the snow. So what you see right now is about dinner time tonight, 6 o'clock. You can see a band of really moderate to heavy snow across central Wisconsin, but that's going to obviously be moving into our direction in northern Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula. And again, this is the GFS model, just so you remember. So we're going to move right along here. This will be midnight tonight. This is when the heaviest snow begins to enter our area. And then you might notice that there is a bit of what's called a dry slot that happens. This would be about 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And you'll notice that the snow is a little bit lighter across most of upper Michigan and northern Wisconsin, and it's because some dry air is now feeding into that storm from the desert southwest as it moves around that storm. So that could help break down some of the precipitation, which may help break down some of the snow totals as well. We'll just have to wait and see. But then not too long after lunchtime tomorrow, it's going to transition to rain. On Monday, it's going to be relatively light rain, but then you're going to notice that as Tuesday goes on, there's going to be some heavier rain. This is 6 a.m. Tuesday, and we're well within the warm sector of the storm now for pretty much all of us. So we will, at this point, we will pretty much all be seeing rain. If anything, in the far western areas, far northwest Vilas County, Gogebic, Ontonagon, Houghton, and Keweenaw, as you work your way up the peninsula there, you might see a rain-snow mix, but I really think that we are all going to be firmly enough in the warm sector of this storm that we won't have to worry about that. And then the storm is going to push out of here. This would be midnight on Wednesday. So it's a multi-day storm here, and it's going to start with that snow and then end with the rain. And then on the backside, we might get a little bit more snow, not anything too terrible, and then cold temperatures are going to set in. So we're going to leave that model there Wednesday at midnight. We're going to go ahead to the European model, and I want to show you the difference between here. You can see that the European model tends to be a little bit further west, and it has been. It's been consistently further west than all of the other models. And what this means is that it would be bringing in lower snow totals too. You notice that the heavy snow band that we were talking about that would be around central Wisconsin around dinner time is more so over southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin in this model. We still have snow here in northern Wisconsin and upper Michigan, but the heavier snow could possibly stay to the west with this one. The heavier snow will stay to the west. We might be getting close to a foot in some spots, but there are places out in Minnesota, South Dakota that could be seeing up to 2 feet of snow. That's not us. So this is midnight going into Monday, and again, you can see that really defined dry slot here in the European model. This one has it even more pronounced than the GFS model. The European model hangs on to that snow and the rain mix a little bit longer, but by dinner time, we're all transitioned over to rain, and then again, most of the day, rain on Tuesday, except for maybe the far western counties where you get a little bit of a rain-snow mix. But then on the backside, colder air filters in and will allow that to change over to snow. And again, we're going to leave that right there because we'll come back to that to talk about the rest of the week in just a minute. This is the NAM model here. And again, we're looking at that snow moving in. Now the NAM has kind of trended a little bit further west as well, along the lines of the European model, but still brings in some pretty moderate to heavy snow. This is 6 p.m. tonight, and then you can see that it moves through here. Looks like our eastern counties, so pretty much east of Highway 51 / Highway 1, we'll say Highway 141 or M95 maybe, could be in that dry slot by as early as midnight tonight, but it's just going to depend. So what we'll see here then is, again, that transition from rain to snow. This is noon on Monday, and this has another dry slot filling in, but then again, it's going to fill in with that rain, and you're going to be seeing mostly rain on Tuesday. You'll notice some of those pinks over there on the western edge. That's where I said I think maybe some folks along the western shore of Lake Superior could see a rain-snow mix throughout the day on Tuesday. I don't think you're going to be seeing any freezing rain. Temperatures aloft aren't really there to support that, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. But I would bet that there won't be any freezing rain. It's just going to be a rain-snow mix. And then you can see how it brings in that little bit of snow on the backside for the end of that storm. And there again, leaving off right there at what would be 6 a.m. on Wednesday. This is the HRRR. And why I like this model is it could show you what the radar kind of looks like at any given time. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this into motion, and you're going to notice, so this would be noon today. And again, that's heavy snow pushing in a little bit later than we thought, but that it's keeping that heaviest snow over Minnesota, but that we still get into some moderate or heavy snow right at the bottom edge of the storm if you look carefully. And then that's going to push in here. This is what the radar could look like at midnight tonight for some of the folks around here. So again, we're all in the snow, and maybe our friends down in southern Marinette County and Oconto County could be entering into that dry slot, but they've all been defining this dry slot here, that's going to happen, especially for the eastern counties, maybe not so much for the western counties. But then this would be 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Your radar could look like this here, and you can see that rain-snow line that's starting to push northward, and also those warm temperatures are going to be feeding in from the southeast. So it's going to change from rain or snow to rain from southeast to northwest. That's going to be kind of the pattern that you see here. And again, I wouldn't anticipate any freezing rain. You might see some sleet, but I wouldn't anticipate any significant icing with this. I think it's just going to be primarily rain and snow. And then once we get into later in the day on Monday, this is dinner time on Monday, solidly into rain. And then going into Tuesday, again, we're going to be seeing a wet day on Tuesday. This is where that model stops. But you're going to notice that the backside of this storm is going to end up with some snow. So I also want to point out the winds that you might be dealing with. This is the European model again. And on the backside of the storm, or even once the storm is going on, you're going to notice that the winds are going to pick up a little bit. You know, those blues that as this storm moves through, you're going to be seeing those winds pick up a little bit, especially on the western side. Now, when the storm is directly over us, like right here, so this would be 6 a.m. on Tuesday, our wind won't be too terribly strong. But even leading up to it, we could be seeing some stronger winds. This would be 6 p.m. tonight going into dinner time tonight. Not super strong, but we could be seeing gusts up to 30 or 35 miles per hour. You're probably wondering snow totals, of course, as much as we all are. This is the GFS model. We started with that one. They are the most aggressive, it seems, with this storm. So you'll notice that it's putting down some pretty heavy snow out in Minnesota, South Dakota, like I said, and even into western Wisconsin, it's putting down some pretty heavy snow, 15, 16, 17 inches. But you'll notice that for all of us here in the far northern parts, they're thinking maybe a general 5 to 9 inches, and then up along the Keweenaw too. And then maybe there's a thin band right along the lake shores of less snow than that. That's the GFS. European model, again, has that storm moving further west, keeping that heavier snow out in Minnesota. But again, that general 5 to 7 inches here, especially along the Keweenaw, but you're going to see that sharp cutoff across what would be Marinette County, Oconto County. So folks in Niagara might see 4 or 5 inches of snow. But if you drive 35 minutes south to Wasaki, you might only see 2 or 3 inches of snow. It just depends. The NAM model, again, you see that real sharp cutoff, putting that heavier snow out west, but then now it's kind of fighting with, if you live in Ironwood, you could be seeing almost a foot of snow, but if you are up in Ontonagon, just a little bit away, you might not be seeing that much. Same thing. You could be in Woodruff or Minocqua and see 8, 9, 10 inches. You drive just a little bit west over to Park Falls, you could be seeing over a foot, at least according to this model. Some of the other ensemble models you can see here, it's really honing in on that general 5 to 9 inches, and that's kind of where I'm taking my stance on all of this is 5 to 9 inches of snow. This is the UK model, and they've been goofy this whole time. So I wouldn't put a lot of faith in saying, oh, we're only going to get maybe 5 inches of snow. Maybe, but they've been really low on the snow totals for the entire run. I don't think that that's going to be the case. This has been kind of a tough storm to predict overall. We've not had a lot of agreement on snow totals, especially across weather offices. So I want to show you a couple of pictures here. The first is the National Weather Service Green Bay office forecast for the snow. You're going to notice that Vilas, Oneida, and Lincoln County are the heaviest ones, at least in our area, with that general 6 to 9 inches of snow. The further east you go, the less it is, the less of a problem it is. But I want you to notice a sharp cutoff right along the Vilas County, Gogebic County line. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, that's kind of silly. Doesn't it seems silly, right? And that's because the National Weather Service office in Marquette has had slightly different ideas. And I want to pull up the Marquette map now, and you can see that, you know, that sharp cutoff. You're not going to go from Land O'Lakes in Wisconsin and cross the border and there's instantly going to be 3 inches less of snow. That's not how this is going to work. I really think these two offices are having a bit of a disagreement on what they really think is going to happen. Same thing, you know, you think about like Ironwood and Hurley. You're not going to go from Hurley where there could be 7 to 10 inches of snow and then cross into Ironwood where there's only going to be 4 to 7. Not going to happen. So what I think is we got to kind of split the difference here. I think the meteorologists are concerned about, number one, how big is that dry slot going to be? Number two, when is the onset of the snow going to be? It's all dependent on that Gulf moisture moving into the storm first. That's going to allow that storm to kind of fire up and start for us. So how big is that dry slot going to be? And when does that transition to rain happen? Because if that transition to rain happens late, we could see higher snow totals than we even expected. But if that transition over to rain happens sooner, or if that dry slot lasts longer, we could get, in essence, skunked and see maybe only 3 or 4 inches. The storm has a lot of flavors of the big storm on April 1st last year, if you remember. And I know I said that I was kind of hedging my bets on 6 to 9 inches, and I jokingly said on the Facebook page I should have said 6 plus 9 inches because we got a boatload of snow on that storm. This storm is different. This storm is further to the west. It's going to be allowing a lot more warm air in while there's still precipitation happening, which is going to allow the rain to start and knock down those snow totals. But also, I really do think that the National Weather Service offices are, obviously they're professionals. I'm just a weather fan, not a weatherman. They've got the right idea, but I think we just kind of need to split the difference. So my take on this is that we're going to be seeing a general 5 to 9 inches, I would say, pretty much for anyone that's along the UP border in the Upper Peninsula. So Gogebic, Iron, Dickinson County, not even so much Menominee County, but just those 3 counties there. And then same thing for pretty much all of our Wisconsin counties. Northern Marinette, Forest Florence, Langlade, Lincoln, Oneida and Vilas County, 5 to 9 inches. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And then same thing up in the Keweenaw, Northern Houghton, Keweenaw County, 5 to 9 inches of snow. It could be increased due to lake effect snow on the backside of the storm. Ontonagon County over to southern Houghton, Baraga, Marquette, Delta, Menominee, southern Marinette, and southern Oconto counties, probably more of like a 2 to 5 inch snowfall range. Could be even less than that. The lake is going to help you out a lot in this instance. The bullseye of the snow is going to be over north central Wisconsin and far southwestern upper Michigan. That's going to be the bullseye of this storm. So we're just going to go ahead and get back to the rest of the week, and you can say, well, there's a whole week left. So we're just going to kind of quick speed through this because I know this video is getting long already, but I really just wanted to give you that heads up on what exactly was going to be happening. You're noticing that as we go on the GFS here, maybe a little bit of something Friday into Saturday. I don't think it's going to amount to much. If anything, it's going to be rain or a rain-snow mix, and then rain to end the week on Sunday. Same thing with the European model. You're going to see pretty quiet then Wednesday, Thursday, a couple of showers on Friday, maybe Saturday, Sunday. Looks like we might have a little bit of a short wave moving in at the tail end of Sunday, but that looks like it's going to stay to the south of us. Climate forecasting system. You can see that storm moving through here. This would be Tuesday this week, and as that storm moves out of here, and then again, you can see that those couple of pieces of energy that could be moving through towards the end of the week. This would be Monday next week, April Fool's Day. Whatever system that might be is going to stay to our south. I think we're going to quiet down a little bit, but you're going to notice that temperatures are probably going to be a little bit cooler week after next. than maybe we've been used to. Speaking of temperatures, let's go ahead and move through these temperatures real fast here. So this would be Monday at around noon. So mid to upper 30s. So that's really what's going to support that change over to rain. And then you notice we're going to stay even overnight in those warmer temperatures. And in fact, Tuesday is going to be warmer than Monday was. And then that cold air is going to filter in on the backside of the storm. We could have a little bit of a reprieve for our southern counties towards the end of the week, but not anything that I think is going to make you feel like you were a couple weeks ago. Friday on the GFS model looks to be warmer, and then followed up by Saturday. You get down towards Milwaukee or Chicago, you're going to be in the 60s, but we'll be in the low 40s, and we can take that. And then a little bit of a cool off on Sunday. Like I said, I think we're going to be seeing some cooler weather going into the week after next. European model, again, you can see that warmer air surging in around lunchtime on Monday, and then it just lingers there all the way through Tuesday, really supporting that rain. I want to back up here because we could be having temperatures pushing 50 degrees by lunchtime on Tuesday. That would take care of the snow right quick too. But then the cold air is going to filter right back in, and we're going to see a cooler week overall with the exception of our southern counties. And again, a little bit of a warm up going into weekend after, going into next weekend, I should say, the very last part of March, Easter weekend. You know, there's Sunday, and the European model seems to think we could be seeing temperatures in the upper 40s to low 50s. But then again, I think it's going to cool down a little bit. We've got a lot going on here in this storm, and I would encourage you to go to weather.gov and get the most up-to-date information you can. You're going to notice that, I'll throw it up on the screen here, we've got many winter weather alerts going on. We got a winter storm warning for Vilas, Oneida, Lincoln, Langlade, Forest, Florence, northern Marinette, northern Oconto County. That goes until 1 p.m. on Monday. And then we also have a winter storm warning for northern Houghton and Keweenaw County up in the Upper Peninsula. And again, I believe that goes to what would be 2 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to double check real quick. Yes, it's going to go until 2 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday. And then everything around it, winter weather advisory. So all of our counties in the Upper Peninsula minus northern Houghton and Keweenaw County, winter weather advisory. Southern Oconto, southern Marinette County, winter weather advisory as well. In Wisconsin, those go until 1 o'clock Central time. And in Upper Peninsula, those are going to go till 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central on Monday. And that, again, shows you that disagreement between the two offices as to what exactly is going to be going on with this storm. So lots of pieces here. I would encourage you, if you're going to be clearing snow, maybe get up early, like between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, to try and get as much of it cleared up as you can before it starts to rain. Because once it starts to rain, although it might melt some of it, it is not going to melt all of it, especially for those of you further west. So it'd be better to get out and move that snow before the rain sets in, and then all of a sudden that's going to be like trying to move concrete. But just be safe overall, shovel smart, take your time traveling to places, and just know that this is probably one of our more meaningful storms of the season, so do take it seriously. Again, if you need up-to-date information, weather.gov, the National Weather Service, has all of that for you up to the minute, and they'll constantly be watching this storm. I'll be watching it too. If I think there's anything that you need to know, I'll be putting it out on the Facebook page. That's a little bit easier, facebook.com/NEWUP Weather News. Thanks for sticking with me in this long video. I know that this is a big one, but this is probably our biggest storm of the season, so I wanted to make sure you were as informed as you could be. Take care, everyone. Be safe, and have a good rest of your weekend and a good week. I will be off next Sunday due to Easter. I'm going to take the Sunday off for the Sunday update video, so we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Take care, everybody. Be safe, and have a great night.